everybody I know who's been successful, whether it's a sports person, a business owner, a celebrity, a TV, you know, I worked in radio and television way back, and everybody had mentors. Everybody had someone they looked up to. Everybody had someone who was guiding them. You know, it's just part of being successful. I find that successful people reach out more and more and more. Even when they're at the top of their game, they're still looking for more input, and they're looking for more expertise and more mentoring.
On here, can I get everybody to turn your video on? So it'd be nice to see some faces smiling back at me instead of all this black box. So switch on your camera and give me a little wave. Okay, let's get into the mood by typing one word. What comes to your mind when you think of the word mentor? So put it in the chat box.
Sorry, what do we think of? What's the question?
What comes to your mind when you think of the word mentor? Just put. Nice. Sensei, inspiration, guide, teacher, knowledge. Great. Yes. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, a warm welcome to the Professional Development Forum, PDF. Good evening from Sydney and a big hello to wherever you are. My name is Ivy and I'm very pleased to be your MC for tonight. We are very honored to have John Di Natale as our speaker today. Before I introduce him, let me talk you through some housekeeping rules. If you are not speaking, please keep yourself on mute. Use the chat box to pop your questions and we would address them during and after John's presentation. And after John's presentation, we would have a short breakout session before coming back to the main room for a discussion. Okay, now that we are all 1.5 meters apart from each other, we can keep this, we can socialize safely and keep this a cozy discussion between us. Safe space here. Okay, now let me introduce you to what is PDF. We are a group of volunteers passionate about sharing ideas, having a growth mindset, and connecting with people. PDF aims to help a diverse young professionals reach their full potential in the Australian workforce. We connect industry leaders through webinars, podcasts, and video interviews. Our guest speakers come from a wide range of industries and backgrounds, including startups, venture capitals, hedge funds, international business, consulting, law, accounting, and journalism. And these are some of the events we had before this. Oh, my slide froze. Okay. Let me introduce you to our guest speaker for tonight. John is no stranger at PDF and a great friend to me. John is based in Melbourne and he is a mentor, keynote and TEDx speaker and president of the Professional Speakers Australia and Victoria. His speaking career has taken him to conferences and events in 11 countries. My favorite video of him is, "What do you want to be known for?" So do search it up on YouTube. He is also the founder of Equi Wealth and the co-founder of an exciting new international startup, 100 Lunches. Our speaker this evening is all about helping you get clear on what you want, so you can live your life by design, not by default. His program would help you create unshakable confidence, overcome your fear, and achieve everything you want in your career, business, and life. All right. So let's start with a little poll. Can you see the poll?
Yep.
Okay. 5 more seconds. All right, done.
Okay. Can you see the results?
Yes, can everyone see the results?
Nice. Okay, so I'll hand it over to John.
Thank you, Ivy. Thank you very much for that introduction and a warm welcome, and hello everybody. Thanks so much for doing the poll. Really appreciate that. Let's just have a quick look at the results. So, do you have a mentor? First of all, it looks like we're about evenly split between people saying yes and no to that question. In terms of why people want a mentor, and these are, the main reasons. These might not cover yours, but these are pretty much the ones that I found in working with people literally all across the world. These are the reasons that that people want a mentor. So either to build their career or to build their business, to help them build confidence, and sometimes just because you're feeling lost, basically. Biggest challenge, don't know where to start. Okay, that's the winner tonight. Don't know if I'm ready. I'm not confident enough to approach someone, okay, and I don't know who to speak to. Cool. All right. Well, tonight, everyone, I'm hoping that we will answer most of these questions for you, or at least get you to a position where you feel much more comfortable about approaching a mentor. And I would start by saying that everybody should have answered yes to question number one, because whether you know it or not, you have mentors in your life right now. Those people could be your friends, they could be your family, they could be your parents, but there are definitely people who are influencing you in a certain way right now, and in effect, they are your mentors. Where they are taking you is another question, right? So this is about, tonight we want to talk about consciously choosing mentors that will take you to where you ultimately want to go with your career, with your job, with your life, effectively. So is that cool? Is that a good thing to try and do in the next say 45 minutes or so? Get everyone comfortable with moving ahead and finding a mentor. Give me a wave if that sounds like a good idea.
Double wave.
Yeah, excellent. All right, thank you. All right, well, I'll just close the poll results. I might share. I've just got a couple of really simple slides for everybody. So I might just share those so you can see them. All right. So, as I was saying earlier, everybody has mentors, whether we've consciously selected those mentors or whether we haven't. Part of our journey in life is that we listen to people. And the real question is, who are we listening to and what are they telling us? And Ivy mentioned a talk of mine, which was, what do you want to be known for? Which is kind of where everything starts, because if we're clear on what it is that we want to be known for in life, in other words, what's our contribution? What do we want to achieve? What do we want to contribute? If we know that and we're clear on that, that makes it much easier then to go out and find the people who can help us go on that journey. So getting that clarity initially is really important, because then you know who to talk to, who might be most helpful, and who's going to be the right person for you, basically. Why would you want a mentor? So I'm happy, by the way, anytime during the presentation, guys, if you have a question or you'd like to make a comment, please feel free to unmute yourself and interrupt. I'm more than happy for that to happen. If you have a question you want to pop it in the chat box, you're also welcome to do that. Feel free to do that as well. So if I can just find the chat, there it is. I'll just open that up so I can keep an eye on that as well. So please feel free to interrupt and, more importantly, get involved. I'd like this to be as interactive as possible. I don't want to talk at you for the next half an hour. I'd like you to join the conversation and ask any questions that you would like to ask. So please feel free to do that. why do you want a mentor? So some of you have pointed out that you're looking to improve your career, you're looking to find a job, just get ahead effectively in life. And here's the interesting thing. One of my favorite quotes is this. If you climbed the mountain on your own, it's not a very big mountain. Okay, and what that basically means is that anybody who achieves a lot in their life tends not to do that alone. Right? I was reading recently on a Himalayan mountain expedition, and just looking at who was on the expedition. So there were 5 climbers on this expedition. How many support people do you think, put in the chat box, how many people do you think they took with them? The 5 climbers, how many people made up the rest of the team, do you think? 3, 4, 6, 10? How many? 10? Wow, 30, 10, yeah, 40?
A few others, but maybe not so many.
Sorry?
Likely a few others, but maybe not so many others.
Yeah, okay. Well, interestingly, there were about another 32 people in the team, right? So 5 climbers, so more than 5 times the number of climbers in the team. And those people were people like an expedition guide, for instance. So someone who knew the mountain, knows the mountain well, and knows which path to take depending on the weather and what's good and what's bad. And if the weather's this way, we're going to go this path. And if the weather's more like this, we might take this path, you know. So we had an expedition guide. There were Sherpas. They are people who carry all the gear, right, up the mountain. So tents and cooking equipment and safety gear and all that stuff. There were, let me see my notes. There were 10 Sherpas. There were 3 logistics and supply people to make sure that people had food and they had the right stuff and they had the right equipment. There were another 14 kitchen and support people to carry stuff and cook and make sure everyone was, you know, it's a big team, right? So that's why that quote is so relevant, because if you're going to climb a mountain, and by that, I don't mean you have to go climb Mount Everest. Okay, I'm not suggesting you go climb Mount Everest next week. If you do, fantastic, share it on social media. It'll be a hit for sure, right? But you don't have to climb Mount Everest. In life, we all have goals and we all have things we want to achieve. That's kind of my equivalent to climbing a mountain. And the message is that most people don't do it on their own, right? People have support teams. They have people to guide them. They have people to advise them. They have people to help if things go wrong, right? And that's really important. So does that make sense? Just give me a yes in the chat box if that all makes sense to you, that you need other people on the journey with you, right? It's not just about you trying to do everything alone, because, you know, great things are generally not achieved alone. One of the things I'd like to clear up at the beginning, because people often ask me, they say, well, what's the difference between a coach? I see lots of people who are coaches, and then I see people who are mentors. Is that the same thing? Is it, you know, or is there a difference? There is a difference. A lot of people, including me, for instance, do both mentoring and coaching. But let me just explain the difference in terms of mentoring and coaching. Who's ever done a sport of any kind? Give us a wave. Done some sports? Cool. Do you have a coach? Did you have a coach in your sport? Okay, fantastic. So most sports people have a coach, right? And a coach, his job or her job is really to work on the skills, right? A coach has expertise. They know that if you run this way and grab the ball that way and do this, you're going to achieve a certain outcome. You know, if you're a diver or a gymnast, they know that if you use this technique and spin your body this way, you'll achieve the 3/4 twist or whatever it is, right? The double back somersault off the board. So they know the techniques, and they know the skills. They have the skills and they have the expertise to deliver that information to you. A mentor is a little bit different. A mentor is more about bringing out the best in you, right? So whilst a coach is teaching and providing expertise, a mentor is more about saying, well, you know, you have the answers within you already. And if we have a conversation, a good mentor will be able to draw those answers out from you and effectively help you make the best decisions for you, the things that are going to make the most sense for you. So a mentor is more about experience. It's more about, it's like that expedition guide who's been up the mountain 100 times. and knows exactly to sort of go, well, if you want to go that way, that's cool, but have you thought about this, right? And if you make that decision, that's cool, but have you thought about this? And so that's more the mentor's role, is to get you to answer your own questions and to have a strategy that you're working to. So if a mentor knows, your ultimate objectives and your ultimate goals, they can help you build the strategy that you need to get you there. Often you're doing a bit of both, right? You're doing some mentoring and you're offering expertise and skills as well. So it's a bit of a balance, and it doesn't have to be clear cut. There are no real kind of hard and fast rules about whether someone should be a coach or whether they should be a mentor. You can blend those two things together and get the best from that person that works for you. So that's the difference between a coach and a mentor. I hope that clarifies that for you. All right, let's go to here, and can I move my slides? There you go. When do you need a mentor? Sometimes people go, well, I'm going really well, so I don't need a mentor. Things are going pretty well. I feel like I'm on track, and I don't need a mentor. Okay, that's cool. But if you had a mentor, could things be potentially better? Could you do more? Could you be more efficient? Could you be more effective? Could you look at other opportunities? So sometimes when you're going really well, that's a good time to get a mentor. Sometimes things are going, let's just say, not so well, right? If things are pretty crappy and you're feeling a bit kind of off track or a bit lost and you're not sure, what your next move is, that's a great time to reach out to someone and say, look, you know what, I need some help. I'm in a position where I don't know what the best decision to make is, and I want to sort of work on the next step. Can you help me with that? But I think the interesting point is in the middle somewhere, and that's where most people are. And most people, things are not going terribly, but they're not going brilliantly either. And they're kind of stuck in the middle somewhere. And when you get that feeling where you've kind of plateaued, you've reached a certain point and it's hard to break past that point. That's the place that most people are, I find, when they reach out. I think that's really important, because if you are feeling stuck, another point of view, some more expertise, some more experience will be a great way to get you out of that and get you moving. And literally everybody I know who's been successful, whether it's a sports person, a business owner, a celebrity, a TV, I worked in radio and television way back, and everybody had mentors. Everybody had someone they looked up to. Everybody had someone who was guiding them. It's just part of being successful. I find that successful people reach out more and more and more. Even when they're at the top of their game, they're still looking for more input, and they're looking for more expertise and more mentoring. Okay, cool. Why would you want to do this? Why even bother? Well, if you're a gamer, okay, lives remaining 0. We only get 1, right? Well, that's my belief. Okay, if you believe anything different, then all due respect to you, that's all fine. But here's the thing: most people live life in what I call the land of okay, and the land of okay sucks, frankly. Right. So when you ask people and they go, how are you? They go, oh, okay. You're all right. Well, is that good? Is it not good? Are you happy? You're not happy? They go, well, just okay, And okay is not a great place to live. Would you agree? Really, if we're going to get the most out of this life, we want to go past okay, and we want to do something really exciting. We want to contribute and make a difference, right? So I want to encourage you not to live in the land of okay, but to get out and actually do more with that. And then the other point is that most people don't give up on their dreams because they're lazy. There are 2 reasons. I put one here. One, because they don't have a clear enough vision. They don't really know what their dreams are and what their goals are, and it's not inspiring enough to motivate them every day. And the second reason is that even if they have that vision, they don't have someone to help them to get there. Right? And that's really important. Okay. All right. So, of course, my advice to you is find a great mentor. And we'll talk about how, and we'll talk about, how you go about doing that and in a little while. But I stole this from Kaylee. Kaylee's actually here tonight. So I've just been busted for stealing Kaylee's little star here that we worked on together. We actually worked on it together. So this is something that we do in terms of mentoring and helping people. And I put this up because it's important to realize that a mentor is not just about your job, or it's not just about your business. It's also about other things in life. It's about building a network. It's about building a network of people who can help you get what you need and get to where you want to go, right? So that's a really important part. And a good mentor can introduce you to people. He can expose you to the right people at the right time and help you build a network. It's also about getting better at communicating. Many of you said that you don't have the confidence to approach people. You don't have the confidence to go and ask somebody to be your mentor. So part of the process is to get that confidence and being able to communicate, being able to approach somebody in the right way, and ask the question, right? And get someone on board. Certainly employment and career, whether that's business or career, doesn't matter, but that's a big part of it. Money and finances is the other part. So most people struggle to some degree with money and finances in their lives. That's another great part to have a mentor. And then lifestyle, just having someone who can keep you in balance, who can say, well, why are you pushing so hard on that when, don't you think, you said to me before, this was kind of more important. We seem to have lost focus on that. So from a lifestyle perspective, having a mentor is also a really good way to keep yourself on balance and on track. All right. Someone put in, Kaylee put in the comments, how, not bad. That's a great Australian expression, right? How are you? Not bad. It's like, okay, well, does that mean you're not good as well? Or does it mean you're just okay or whatever, So yeah, let's get out of that land of okay, and let's be a little more excited about what we're doing with our lives. And that's one of the reasons I believe having good mentors is really important. Okay. I'm going to come to this slide afterwards because we're going to go to a bit of a breakout. Let me just check on time. How are we tracking here, Ivy? We've got a little bit of time.
Before we
go to a breakout room. So let me just throw it to you guys for a moment and ask for any questions you may have or any comments that you may have. You're welcome to unmute yourself if you'd like to speak and say hello, or you're welcome to pop something in the chat and we'll answer it from there. But I'm happy to take any questions you have in relation to mentors, finding a mentor, who's the right mentor, etc. Yeah?
Any burning questions from the floor?
I'll give you a moment to think of a question.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Annie. John,
Annie.
the question that always comes up for me is there are so many paid mentors out there, but how do you know exactly how much you should pay and whether that mentor is the right person? Is there a benchmark? So if you're not confident about asking someone for unpaid and you go for the paid route, what criteria should we be looking at to make sure it aligns with what we need?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a great question. Look, with mentoring, there are paid mentors and unpaid mentors, and payment might be in a couple of different forms. So it may be cash, it may be equity in a business. There are different ways that people who mentor kind of engage in that situation. If you're looking for a mentor, I think there's some fundamental questions that you have to ask first. The first thing is, why that person? So do you relate to that person? Is it, if you sit down with someone who's a paid mentor, does it feel right? So like your instinct will tell you, if you listen to your gut, as the saying goes, your instinct will know whether this is someone that you can really connect with. And I think that's really important because a mentor, mentee relationship is based on trust. And you have to feel like you can open up to that person. You have to feel like you can be honest with that person, that you can ask dumb questions, you can say dumb things, you're not going to be judged, you're not going to be kind of, harassed or whatever. You have to be comfortable. So that's step number one. The second thing is, do they have the experience that you're looking for? So, have they been there? Have they done what it is that you're trying to do? I think that's really important. Are they enthusiastic, like genuinely enthusiastic about sharing their knowledge with you? Do they really, do they come across as being someone who's really enthusiastic about engaging with you and sharing with you and getting you to where you want to go? Or is it just kind of like, okay, well, you got 15 minutes left and then your time's up, So do they have that enthusiasm? And then, can you reach a level of comfort where you kind of feel that they're the right person? And I think whether it's paid or unpaid, all those things still apply. So I hope that answers your question. We have other questions.
Yeah, we have. Sorry.
Sorry. Go on.
No, go ahead.
No. I just realized there is a queue on the chat, so go ahead, please.
Yeah. So Paul have a comment on the difference between a coach and a coach and a mentor? Paul, would you like to unmute and ask?
Oh, I can have a quick look as well. Let's have a look. Okay, so Paul's a coach, great. Yeah. I look at Paul. You're right, and it's a very loose definition, but just in terms of trying to give people some way of differentiating. And as I said before, we all coaches and mentors to a degree. Well, we have different methodologies depending on how we've kind of learnt to become a coach or a mentor, and then we have different degrees of how much expertise and skill teaching we do, and how much we sort of let our mentee explore, or our coaching client explore their own ability, their own decision making. But it's a very valid point you make. I agree.
We have another question from Katie Chu. As a
Okay.
mentor, Katie, would you like to ask the question?
Sure. I just want to ask, as a mentor, what do you get out of it? And I've got so many good mentors in the past. So what can I give them back as a return if they don't ask for money?
Yeah, that's a good question. What do you get out of it? It's a two-way street, and I'm sure anybody who is a coach or a mentor would agree that often you learn as much from the people that you are coaching and mentoring as they do from you. So it's a really valuable relationship because you may be at different stages of your life, different stages of your career, and people bring different perspectives to things, and you learn as much from the questions that are asked or the comments that are made or the things that people push back on, the things that they accept easily. You learn a lot from that. So it's a really valuable relationship from the mentor's perspective as well. In terms of what you can give back, look, I think there's an inherent satisfaction for any coach or mentor in seeing the people that they're working with succeed. So the first thing you can do is become a fantastic success, right? Because not only will that give your coach or mentor some satisfaction, it also shows that they've made a useful contribution, hopefully, on your journey, and that's going to help them to grow on their own side of things as well. And then I think you'll have every single person in this meeting tonight has expertise to some degree in certain areas, but more importantly, everybody has their own perspective on things, and you bring a very unique perspective on the world to any relationship that you're in. So I think sharing that perspective and giving that back to your coach or mentor in a really kind of genuine, honest way is also really valuable. So it doesn't have to be about money. There's a lot of satisfaction in watching people grow and succeed and achieve their goals. And many of the people that I've looked up to, many of the people that have mentored me, there's been no money involved. It's been a relationship where they feel like they're giving back in many cases, where they kind of go, look, I've had a good 20 or 30 years in this industry. It's been very good to me. And now I want to share some of the knowledge and expertise I have with other people. And they've just been really happy to see success. So I think that's the other way that you can give back.
Great. We have another question from Washington. Washington, would you like to ask the question?
Hi, John. Sorry, just a quick question. In your experience in wisdom, what is a nice way to actually mentor someone who is to mentor people?
Mentor someone who is already a mentor?
Yes.
Well, I think everybody should have a mentor, even if you are a mentor. Okay. So we all have mentors in different areas of our life. And look, I think, everybody is very unique in terms of how you interact with that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, I find it very difficult to go, well, this is my process for mentoring, because whilst I have a framework, of course, and I've got things that I know that work and things that I've kind of had to experience that they generally work really well, everybody is quite different. So, the way that one person responds to something is going to be very different to the way somebody else does. So it's a learning experience for both. That's why that trust in the beginning is so important. If you can establish that trust, then there's a bit of sounding out initially to kind of go, well, does this work for you? Does this work for you? If I kind of direct you this way, does that work? Or do I need to be more like this? So it's a bit of a learning experience for both parties, I think.
Mm-hmm. Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question. All right.
We have another question from Jeffrey Wang.
Sure.
So there's a very popular concept of late, which is this idea of a reverse mentor, where an older person is paired up with a younger one, and they sort of swap the ideas around, where the older person generally coaches mentors the young person on sort of ways of the world, and the younger person mentors the older person on, say, for example, social media or new tech trends. What do you think of that concept, and how does it work in reality?
I love it. Look, I think I like the term, reverse mentoring, but I actually think that's all mentoring. As I said before, it's always a two-way relationship. And I think, as I said, people will be at different stages of their career, different stages of their life, and they will bring knowledge and expertise and skills and views and attitudes to the relationship that will benefit the other party, So, if I'm mentoring someone who's in their early 20s and just getting started, then I'm going to know a bunch of stuff that they don't. But the same applies. The reverse applies as well. They'll be, social media is a good example, perhaps, or tech or whatever. They may be much more switched on with that stuff than I am. I'm going to learn as much from them as they're going to learn from me. So I think it's a great concept, but I think it actually underpins every coaching relationship and every mentoring relationship that I've ever had. It's always been a two-way learning streak. Like I often say to people, look, I think I've learned more, more or as much from you as you have from me. And I think that's a great way to work it. That says the relationship is working and you're sharing in the right way.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, especially coming from a young person who just started my career, I always have that feeling, what else can I give back? So it's nice to hear from that. We have another question from Stephen Chan.
Hey, John, how you going?
Hey, Steve. Good.
Yeah, just got a question. Would you advise getting a mentor for each area of your life, or someone who's generally good and skilled in multiple areas?
I think that's a really personal decision, Stephen. It depends on kind of how much mentoring you can take, and what works. So if you find someone who's really good in a particular niche of your life, and you just want to keep them in that, career path, for instance, you might want to go and look for somebody else who can do the other areas. If you find someone who's very broad and can help you across the other areas, then that's okay. So again, there's no real hard and fast rule. I think it's a case of what works for you, and where do you feel like you need the most help? What are the areas where you feel it's going to be of value to have that relationship with someone? Look, if you have 15 mentors, it's going to get confusing sometimes. You're going to have differing advice and different. If you're listening to a lot of people all the time, it can be quite difficult. So I think it's good to have just a few. I wouldn't want to have too many at any one time. But there's no harm in going and finding other people with specific expertise or experience in an area of your life if you need them. And, it might just be for a month or two, and that's fine. That's okay as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
John, do you want to take another question before we go into the breakout room? Kim have a question.
Kim said she has I just saw Kaylee's question. Do you have a favorite mentee? So for those of you who don't know, I'm Kaylee's mentor as well. So she's just fishing for a compliment here. So I'm not even going to answer that.
Good move, Kaylee.
Kim had a question.
Hi, John, and hi, team. Thank you very much for hosting this webinar. I'm just wondering if I could possibly consider a manager or a team leader as a mentor, and what may be the potential.
Sorry, Kim, you dropped out a little bit. So I heard considering a manager or a team leader as a mentor. Is that like in a business situation?
Yeah, so basically I'm wondering if I can approach my team leader or manager to be on a mentor type level, or whether that's an overstep of the boundary or something like that.
Oh, I don't think it's an overstep. I think it's interesting if you're in a business or a corporate situation. Sometimes going to the person who's immediately kind of above you. So if it's your manager or direct, team leader or supervisor or whatever, it depends on how they, on what their view of the world is. Sometimes they'll get a little bit kind of defensive, like if I teach you too much, will my position be threatened or whatever? And if they have that viewpoint, then it's obviously not going to work. And you may want to go a level up, or even better, a level across, because that's the other thing that people don't realize. Like, a good mentor doesn't have to be specifically in your job role or your expert, in your business. They can be in other areas. They'll bring a lot of value to you just the same. So you might want to, if that person is open to that, then I see no reason why not. But often I find that you probably need to go a level up or a level or two, or move across and find someone in another area who can add value for you.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you.
Thanks for the question. All right. How are we tracking for time? I think we were going to do a bit of a breakout, Ivy. Is that right? Is that the plan?
Yeah, we can.
All right. Cool. So what I'm thinking is if we do a breakout, just for 5 minutes, 5 or 10, I'll leave it to Ivy to decide. And I was really hoping that you discuss two key questions. What area of your life would you most like to focus on with a mentor, and why? And then what's your biggest challenge in going out and finding a mentor? So we had some already, but maybe you can help each other with those challenges in the breakout rooms. Have a chat about that. And if you have any questions that come out of that, bring them back and we'll do our best to answer them when you return. All right.
Okay. Breakout rooms.
And I'll see you in the breakout rooms as well.
Hello.
Oh, welcome back.
Welcome back. How was the discussion? Good, good. Thumbs up, double thumbs up. Nice. Okay, we just wait a few minutes. I think, is everybody back? Yeah. John, were you in a breakout room earlier?
Yeah, he got stuck with us.
I was. We had a very good discussion.
Nice, nice. Okay, so how about we share what you discussed in your group? Anybody want to start?
Yeah, I can go in. Jyoti here.
Sure.
Yeah, I had a question. I mean, we discussed about a question around, I see that there is a lot of importance given around coaching rather as compared to mentoring. At least that's what I see on social media platform. There's a lot of hype around coaching. I mean, with all due respects to all the coaches who are there on the call. So that's not my intention. So I was a little curious to find out what could be the reason behind this, because I personally have a mentor myself and he does a wonderful job, right? So mentors are equally good in what they are doing, but I see that there's a lot of importance around coaching, right? So I was just a little curious to know about that. If that is true.
Sorry?
If that is true, or if it is just my perception, then I don't know.
No, I think that's a valid observation, Yoki. I think it's more a case of just the way we use the terms more than actually describing what's actually going on. I think all coaches mentor and all mentors coach.
Right.
It's more about how you choose to describe yourself, I guess, in terms of what it is that you're doing. So there are a lot of coaches out there. I have deliberately over the years avoided using the term coach only because there's a million coaches. So we were talking in our group about standing out a little bit, wearing the purple hat, and being the interesting one that stands out. So so I've kind of had various descriptions over the years in terms of what I've been doing. So business growth specialist or business advisor or whatever, or mentor. So I've kind of avoided the use of the term coach to a large degree, but that's just me being me. But I wouldn't get too hung up on the terminology. Basically, I'd go find someone who you can work with, who really, and be clear on what it is that you want, and go and find the person who can give you that.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you, John, because I also believe in that. And in fact, my mentor is being my coach as well, right? So the terminology does not really matter here.
No, the two blend into each other.
Right.
Very, very often. Yeah.
True.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for the question.
Okay, anybody else want to share what you discussed in your breakout rooms? How was the discussion?
Annie does.
Go ahead, Annie.
well nominated.
Okay, so I was in the same room with Jeff and John, and we discussed about what's the best way to approach a mentor. And so John shared with us the best way is, first of all, being very clear on why we want to mentor, and also what we want to get out of it. And then making sure that at the end, to make sure just being ourselves, and that would be the best way to maintain that mentor-mentee relationship.
Nice.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing, Annie. Anybody else want to share? What are the challenges you face?
I'll go.
Hi, John. This is Judy. I have a question to ask you. Is regarding being a mentor to provide like proactive constructive feedback. Because I know in Australian workplace, people are so focused to be a people pleasers. It's really hesitate. It's really whatever the mentee bring to the table, and the mentor will give like some kind of feedback. But how to motivate mentor to give you proactive, constructive feedback?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think sometimes, well, part of being a good mentor is the ability to, not just say what you think the person wants to hear, because sometimes you have to face some hard truths, and you have to say something. You have to say, look, I think you really need to rethink that, and maybe we could look at it a few different ways. And you just need to be able to work with someone to get them to think differently. So I think if all you do as a mentor is tell someone what they want to hear all the time, I don't think you're adding value really in that situation. So to be a good mentor, you have to be prepared to have some of the more difficult conversations, and you have to be prepared to be honest, because if you're not, then you're not really giving the value that you should be giving to the person. So, and if you're the person receiving the advice, I think the really good thing to do is just to go like, what else should I know? What else would you like to tell me? What else do you think I should be thinking about? Do you think I should be thinking about things a bit differently? And just prod for the information, because sometimes people are a little bit reluctant to just come out and tell you. But just ask a few more questions and keep them talking and see what else comes out. And then you can get into a more detailed discussion perhaps about an area that they might not have been really comfortable to approach with you.
Thank you for your reassurance on that fact, John. I think confidence is a real big factor when it comes to mentoring and menteeing. A lot of the problem is people don't have the confidence to approach other people, and I just wish I could empower that more. I'm just not sure in which forum or where to push that. I think confidence is huge. So could you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We were having a discussion in our little group about, and this is a true story, and Kaylee can back me up on this, but a little while ago I was on LinkedIn and I found somebody who is the chief advisor to one of Australia's richest business owners, right? I won't name him, but he's worth billions. And this particular guy is his right-hand man, his advisor. And I thought, wow, it'd be kind of cool to talk to this guy and get some advice from him. And I just literally sent a note on LinkedIn saying, hey, Stephen, I'm really interested in talking to you. So you've done some amazing stuff. Would you be interested in having a conversation? I'd like to learn from you and whatever. And within 5 minutes, I got a reply saying, hey, yeah, sure, I'd love to. Let's have a walk and a talk and catch up, So it's really amazing. The people who you think would not give you time of day will often be more than happy to help. But you got to take that initial step, right? And the other point we were talking about in our room is that we often don't realize how much we can add to the relationship as well. Like every single one of you, if I was working with anybody in this group, I'm sure that you would have a stack of stuff to add value to me, right? In terms of what I do with my work and my life. So everybody brings a unique perspective and a unique view of the world and unique experience and skills, right? So you're going to bring as much to the relationship as the mentor is. So you have to have a little bit of confidence in yourself to go, I'll be able to add value somehow to this relationship, and just take that first step, right? I'm big on the sort of 3-minute rule, right? In fact, Ivy can back me up on this, right? So when Ivy and I met, sorry if I'm talking out of school here, Ivy, but we caught up for lunch after one of Kaylee's events. And I said, Ivy said, I'd really like to do this. And I said, great, do it. I said, by tomorrow, send me the stuff and have it done. She's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, like just get it done. Is that true? True story. Right. And
Yes.
she did it, right? Because when you just give yourself a deadline, it gets done, and she did it really well. So sometimes you just have to go, like, in the next 24 hours, I'm going to reach out to 5 people.
Just do it.
In fact, that's my last slide. In fact, I'm going to ask you to do 2 things, right?
Hey, I'm going to have to ask Frankie to share his experience, actually.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened last night, Frankie.
Last night I couldn't sleep, Jeff, and everyone. I couldn't sleep up to 1 o'clock in the morning. I was trying to reach out to people, like 30 people in my list. Jeff gave me assignments to do it.
Wow.
And
30
Well
people.
done,
Well done, Frankie.
Well done, Frankie.
I got it.
I love that.
Thank you, Jeff.
And did it, Frankie?
Well done, Frankie.
Thank you.
Yeah, sensational job, Frank. Can I ask a question? Was it uncomfortable at first?
It was so like irritating. It's so hard to get myself to press the
Here's my
keyboard.
follow-up question. Did it get easier as you went?
After that, after nearly in the morning, it's just like continuously going, man, non-stop.
1 o'clock in the morning.
Good job.
Whatever, I don't care. Just keep going, right?
Yeah, that's right. You don't think twice anymore.
You know what, though, guys? Change is difficult, right? Any time that we change, it's difficult. Initially, it's scary and it's
Uncomfortable.
and it's painful, right?
Mm.
But here's the thing: there's kind of good news and bad news, right? If you do nothing, nothing changes. And in some respects, that's good because you go, well, that's okay. I'm kind of comfortable where I am. But on the other side of that coin, if nothing changes, you're not progressing, you're not moving, you're not growing, you're not trying new things, experiencing new things, learning. So, if you do nothing, then nothing happens. That's the reality. So, my advice is always, you use that kind of, 5-second rule. I forget the name of the speaker or the author who talked about this, but someone talks about the 5-second rule, which is like, if you see a good-looking person on the other side of the room and you want to go and say hello to them, if you don't start walking within 5 seconds, right, you're not going to do it. Okay. So in that first 5 seconds, when the thought first hits you, just go, right? Start walking, be committed to it, and walk up to that person and say hi. You never know what'll happen. They might tell you to get lost. Okay, fine. But they might not, right? And so it's the same thing with this. At some point, you have to decide to go, well, you know what? I'm just going to start. I'm just going to make a few contacts. I'm going to talk to a few people. I'm going to ask a few questions. And you might get some rejection. All right, cool. That's part of the process. Some people might go, no, I'm not really interested. Okay, thanks for your time. Have a good day. That's it. Move on, But if you find a couple of people who really add value and they can change the whole direction of your life, that would be worthwhile, surely, right?
John,
Yeah.
I think that's really great. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think that sort of reflects back on the if you don't ask, you don't know. It's just sort of about that. If you don't ask, you don't know. So why not give it a go? I mean, if someone says no, it might not be no as in no, but no as in something else. But if you never ask, you never know.
Exactly. And do you know what often happens, Kim? Like someone will say no. They'll go, oh, look, that's really not my thing. But if that's something you're interested in, you should talk to these 3 people. And then you go, That's
it. I mean, the best they can do is positive referral, like just refer onwards. But
Exactly. But then when you go and talk to those 3 people, it's like, hi, Kim said I should give you a call because we were talking about this. So it's a much easier conversation to have because now you've got an introduction, right? So you've got a reason to call them.
Exactly.
So
Thank you, John.
The more you build your network and the more you build those connections, the easier it becomes to go and find any, like Kaylee, who's had, so Kaylee, I'm going to pick on Kaylee for a minute. So Kaylee was like super shy and couldn't even speak in a meeting that I had to beat her up about a couple of years ago, right? And since then she's done a TED talk and she's done major stages around the country, been on media all over the place. And you know why? Because she made a decision to get the heck out of her comfort zone and go and have lunch with strangers, 100 lunches. She's now up to 270 or something. And there's not a single thing, and I think I can say this without fear of contradiction, there's not a single thing Katie needs where she can't go to her network and find it within like 5 minutes. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I love to share a little bit because I don't think anyone here in the room has more mentors than me. But I still haven't stopped hunting for mentors because mentor is not marriage. You don't have to have one mentor. I have different mentors from different things. Like we mentioned before, John's my mentor, and he's my first mentor who inspired me to do a lot of things. He's a great speaker, and he inspired me to be a public speaker and became a TEDx speaker and became, get on the stage and not fear of sharing my stories. But John doesn't know much about technology. So when we started to build a technology platform to connect people together, I went to another mentor who's done technology startup before, and he put me to the right process on, hey, Kaylee, this is what you need to do. This is the book you need to read. These are the 3 people you need to connect to, and save me thousands of hours of frustration and just put me to the right path. And these are just 2 of them. I've got maybe 3 or 4 mentors that I can easily name off that help me change my life and take my life to the next level that I'll be forever grateful for, including John. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
my little sharing.
Thank you.
Amazing story.
That is just the reality, guys. If you don't take those first steps, then it's obviously, it just doesn't happen. You don't move, right? You don't move forward. So that's really important. Cool. Let me see. What did I have on my next slide? Did I have something else? Here we go. How are we going for time? Sorry, I haven't looked. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Goodness me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll talk too much. So
Great discussion.
Yeah, thank you so much for the questions. I really appreciate that. I hope that's been of value. I'm happy to take more, being guided by Ivy in terms of time, obviously. But this last slide was what I was going to ask you to do, what I was going to ask you to commit to tonight, just like I did with Ivy. So the first one is make a promise to yourself to live life at your full potential, right? Don't live the same year 75 times over and call that a life, right? Because that's not a life. Second, make a commitment to yourself. Here's my challenge to you. In the next 24 hours, reach out to at least one person and say, hey, I'm really interested in what you're doing. Would you like to have a conversation? And I'm looking perhaps for some mentorship or some guidance. Would that be of interest to you? Do a few. Do 30, like Frankie, right? Do that. And then, don't live your life in the land of okay, because okay sucks. That's my closing comment. So I hope that you'll all reach out and you'll all, use mentors and mentorship and those relationships to get you where you want to go and live a much more happy and fulfilling life.
Nice. I like
yes,
that.
I totally second that. So this one is 6 years old. When he was born, I have no idea how to be a mom. And I have my auntie coming to help me, and he helped me. So like, she's kind of my mentor, not really, but she taught me how to parent, how to change nappies and stuff. So that helps so much. It's irrelevant, but kind of, right? But it's similar as business. You don't know what to do, or career, you don't know what to do, public speaking, you don't know what to do. You find someone who's done it before and teach you how to change the nappy, teach you how to bath the baby.
Just to make it clear, I have no mentor skills in changing nappies, but there you go.
Is that funny?
I like that. Don't live in your okay, and like mentoring is not a marriage. Great discussion tonight.
Hey, I love that 5-second rule. I might just have to pull it out. I'm going to use it, right? Anyone that's working with me in PDF, 5-second rule, right? Bookmark that video because that's what I'm going to do. You see, I've been looking for something that gives me that, right? And so far, all I've got is a Nike swoosh, just do it, or just JF.
Just do it.
The problem with just do it is like, just do it when,
Oh,
no.
True.
It's like,
Right
just do
now.
it. Just
right
do
now.
It. Yeah, just do it next week. It's okay,
Later.
Well, I got the Arnie's, the Arnold Schwarzenegger video. Do it now.
Oh, that's a good impression there, mate.
Nice. Jeffrey Schwarzenegger. I like it. Nice.
Hi, John. I really like the opening, how you opened tonight with the example of the mountaineering, because I was in Mount Everest base camp in 2019.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, 2 years ago. And once I was there, I realized the people who submitting Mount Everest, they are not the real heroes. Actually, the heroes are the suppers behind.
Absolutely.
The unknown people. So as mentors, so one man's success, you need to build your own army. your own team to get you there. And I check your LinkedIn. I find your profile picture is the TED Talk Docklands. I live in Docklands. Are you living in Docklands?
Oh, really? Okay. No, my office is in Docklands, but I live in Melbourne. So there you go. We'll have to do a lunch. Send me a
interested to
message.
be my mentor because my next stage is for public speaking. So if you can help, that'd be great.
As opposed to changing nappies, public speaking is something I know about, so I can help you with.
Fantastic.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Great question, great discussion. We'll wrap this up. Can you please complete the poll? Let us know what you think. We want some feedback. Also, I'll be sharing the next event.
Next Monday.
Next Monday. Lola, are you in? Lola would be the moderator for the next session. I think my screen is not showing well.
Well, Lola, do you want to give us a quick introduction to next Monday's event?
Hi, everyone. So next Monday we have a webinar with Katrina Rassi. So she's the partner of
King and Wood Mallison.
King and Wood Mallison, the Sydney partner. And so she's going to be sharing about her, her career journey and about her work, her advocacy work on diversity and inclusion in Australian workplace. And she'll also talk about her upbringing because that largely motivated her to do what she does now. And so just sign up to that. It's on our website and it's also on our LinkedIn and on our Eventbrite.
Yep. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, we'll wrap this, and thanks for joining us tonight. Wonderful discussion, and thank you, John. Thanks for being our guest speaker for tonight, and thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you, everyone.
John. Thank you so much, man.
Can we also thank Ivy for doing such a great job emceeing tonight and hosting? Good job.
Thank you, John.
Ivy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ivy. You're a champion.
Yeah.